morning, ma'am. Please state your name.
Brianna Alvelo.
At 22 years old, Brianna Alvelo could spend the rest of her life behind bars. She's accused of making a pizza delivery turn violent.
State believes that this is a punishable by life offense. There should be no bond set, and it should not be set for a pretrial detention hearing.
Osceola County Sheriff's Office says on Sunday evening, someone staying at the Rivera Motel in Kissimmee ordered pizza. Detectives claim Alvelo delivered the pizza to the person, but she was not happy with her tip.
I do find that there is probable cause.
Investigators say Alvelo came back to the motel room, this time with a man who had a gun. They say the two of them forced their way into the room, and then Alvelo used a knife to stab the victim several times.
And I've never heard of nothing like that. I have 3 kids, but it's good to know because I'll always be aware.
The woman is also accused of stealing things from the room. She is facing charges of home invasion, attempted murder, kidnapping, and aggravated assault.
That goes to show you don't trust nobody, no matter where they are.
Once I realized the severity of the situation, I'm like, oh my God, these people came in here to hurt us.
Right now at 6, a pregnant woman stabbed at a motel in Kissimmee, and deputies say a pizza delivery driver did it. Tonight, Fox 35 is speaking exclusively with a woman stabbed 14 times in front of her own little girl. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Manny Martinez.
Good evening. I'm Hannah McKenzie. Deputies say a bad tip is what led to that stabbing. And as Fox 35's Marie Edinger reports, the victim says she's scared she'll be attacked again as deputies continue searching for a second suspect involved.
The woman who was attacked said that her food arrived late, it was cold, and the delivery driver was rude, so she only gave a $2 tip. She did not think that would land her in a hospital bed.
It's pretty traumatic.
Melinda Irizarry, her boyfriend, and her 5-year-old daughter were at this motel in Kissimmee Sunday, just hanging out, having a staycation for her boyfriend's birthday. A little before midnight, she says she heard someone pounding on the door. That's when deputies say a man and woman forced their way in.
Once I realized the severity of the situation, I'm like, oh my God, these people came in here to hurt us.
According to an arrest report, the man pointed a gun at her daughter, then forced her boyfriend into the bathroom at gunpoint. The woman took out a knife.
It wasn't like she was just upset. It was like she was in a frenzy mode.
At the hospital, Irizarry discovered it wasn't just her life at risk. Doctors told her she's about a month pregnant.
And I started crying, and I kept telling my boyfriend, I think I'm going to die.
Irizarry needed over 200 staples for slices across her arms, her wrist, her shoulders, her back, her stomach, her breast, 14 stab wounds in total. She needed surgeries for a punctured lung and severed tendons in her knee.
My daughter seeing that whole thing, it kind of is pretty heartbreaking to me.
It wasn't until later Irizarry and detectives realized that woman was allegedly the pizza driver who'd gotten upset about a small tip earlier in the night, Brianna Alvelo. Detectives say they found surveillance video linking her to the crime and arrested her on a warrant the next day. But the thing is, Irizarry doesn't think this was about money in the end.
You got the money. Okay. My boyfriend told you where there was more money, and you didn't go get it.
And now, no amount of money could get Alvelo out of the situation she's in.
You're not going to be able to bond out.
She's facing charges for aggravated assault, kidnapping, home invasion, and she's charged under the same statute that covers premeditated murder.
State believes that this is a punishable by life offense.
But in the meantime, the man deputies say was with Alvelo is still out there. That terrorizes Irizarry.
I am scared, and he knows exactly how he looks. He stared at that man for how long with a gun pointed to his head. I want them to get him as soon as possible because they're monsters. They should not be out in the street.
Irizarry's doctors have not given her an update as to when she'll be able to leave the hospital, and she's got a long road ahead. She says she has to learn to walk again after her knee surgery, so she'll be dealing with this for quite some time. In Osceola County, Marie Edinger, Fox 35 News.
Heartbreaking to me.
Right now at 6, a pregnant woman stabbed at a motel in Kissimmee, and deputies say a pizza delivery driver did it.
The woman who was attacked said that her food arrived late, it was cold, and the delivery driver was rude, so she only gave a $2 tip. She did not think that would land her in a hospital bed.
It's pretty traumatic.
Melinda Irizarry, her boyfriend, and her 5-year-old daughter were at this motel in Kissimmee Sunday, just hanging out, having a staycation for her boyfriend's birthday. A little before midnight, she says she heard someone pounding on the door. That's when deputies say a man and woman forced their way in.
Once I realized the severity of the situation, I'm like, oh my God, these people came in here to hurt us.
According to an arrest report, the man pointed a gun at her daughter, then forced her boyfriend into the bathroom at gunpoint. The woman took out a knife. She needed surgeries for a punctured lung and severed tendons in her knee.
My daughter seeing that whole thing.
It wasn't until later Irizarry and detectives realized that woman was allegedly the pizza driver who'd gotten upset about a small tip earlier in the night, Brianna Alvello. Detectives say they found surveillance video linking her to the crime and arrested her on a warrant the next day. The woman who was attacked said that her food arrived late, it was cold, and the delivery driver was rude, so she only gave a $2 tip. She did not think that would land her in a hospital bed.
It's pretty traumatic.
Melinda Irizarry, her boyfriend, and her 5-year-old daughter were at this motel in Kissimmee Sunday, just hanging out, having a staycation for her boyfriend's birthday. A little before midnight, she says she heard someone pounding on the door. That's when deputies say a man and woman forced their way in.
Once I realized the severity of the situation, I'm like, oh my God, these people came in here to hurt us.
According to an arrest report, the man pointed a gun at her daughter, then forced her boyfriend into the bathroom at gunpoint. The woman took out a knife.
It wasn't like she was just upset. It was like she was in a frenzy mode.
At the hospital, Irizarry discovered it wasn't just her life at risk. Doctors told her she's about a month pregnant.
And I started crying, and I kept telling my boyfriend, I think I'm going to die.
Irizarry needed over 200 staples for slices across her arms, her wrist, her shoulders, her back, her stomach, her breast, 14 stab wounds in total. She needed surgeries for a punctured lung and severed tendons in her knee.
My daughter seeing that whole thing, it kind of is pretty heartbreaking to me.
It wasn't until later Irizarry and detectives realized that woman was allegedly the pizza driver who'd gotten upset about a small tip earlier in the night, Brianna Alvello. Detectives say they found surveillance video linking her to the crime and arrested her on a warrant the next day. But the thing is, Irizarry doesn't think this was about money in the end.
You got the money. My boyfriend told you where there was more money, and you didn't go get it.
And now, no amount of money could get Alvello out of the situation she's in.
You're not going to be able to bond out.
She's facing charges for aggravated assault, kidnapping, home invasion, and she's charged under the same statute that covers premeditated murder.
State believes that this is a punishable by life offense.
But in the meantime, the man deputies say was with Alvello is still out there. That terrorizes Irizarry.
Osceola deputies have arrested 22-year-old Brianna Alvello and booked her into the county jail. They say she and a man broke into the Riviera Motel in Kissimmee this past Sunday and attacked a person in one of the rooms, all because Alvello didn't get a big enough pizza delivery tip. Deputies say they found a victim with several stab wounds. First responders rushed the victim to the hospital.
In a shocking incident in Kissimmee, Florida, Melinda Irizarry, a pregnant woman, was brutally stabbed 14 times by a pizza delivery driver following a heated dispute over a mere $2 tip. Melinda Irizarry, grievously injured and fighting for her life, was swiftly transported to a nearby hospital where she underwent emergency surgery to save both her life and that of her unborn child. The pizza delivery driver, whose identity was initially withheld, allegedly became enraged after the tip was deemed insufficient, escalating the confrontation to a level of violence that shocked the local community. As the investigation unfolded, authorities revealed that they are actively searching for an accomplice who may have played a role in the brutal attack, raising concerns about safety in the neighborhood.
This pizza delivery driver is facing attempted murder charges after stabbing a pregnant customer 14 times when she gave her a $2 tip. The pregnant woman paid $50 for a $33 order, expecting the full change. 22-year-old Brianna Alvello walked away with what she thought was her tip, but the customer wanted her money back. Alvello and two armed men confronted the pregnant customer later at her motel, and then stabbed her multiple times with a pocket knife as the mom shielded her 5-year-old daughter. Although the mom miraculously survived, Alvello is facing multiple charges of attempted murder, home invasion with a firearm, kidnapping, and aggravated assault with a weapon.
Y'all already know how the fuck I feel about tipping, so let me get this straight. I order a pizza, costs $37. I probably got 2 pizzas, maybe 2 pizzas and some breadsticks, whatever the fuck. $37. I give you a $50 bill once you deliver it, and I ask for my change back, knowing full well I'm gonna tip you, but the damn show ain't gonna be $13. Maybe $2, maybe $4. You might even get lucky and get $5. But I'm not about to tip you the remainder of my $50, which is $13. You tell me that per company policy, you can't give me my money back, and you try to walk the fuck off. And I tell you straight up, give me my fucking money back or shit gets bad. You give me my money back, and then you leave. You return with 1 to 2 good men, fully armed, not caring about what happens when you break the fucking law. And then you break into my fucking hotel room, you stab me the fuck up, and then you rob me. Now you're facing life with no potential for parole. I'm gonna be fucking heal up eventually. I'm in this hospital, and you're gonna be in jail for the rest of your life. And the guy or guys that you brought with you are still on the lam. Nigga, you cannot convince me that tipping in America is not a tool used to further divide people. You can't convince me of that shit. Because when I heard that story, I was like, bro, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You stabbing a motherfucker up over $13, my nigga? Times is hard, yes, I get it, but you stabbing a motherfucker up over $13? Really? Not only do you stab a motherfucker, you break into their fucking hotel room and then you rob them with 1 to 2 other guys. What are we really doing? I will forever say that tipping is very ridiculous because it's not the customer's job to supplement your income, right? We need to take that up with the company that is basically making you work for $2.50 an hour, not paying you a livable wage, but they're making an outrageous amount of money off of the work that you produce. But we don't talk about that. No. We focus on the tipping. I don't understand that shit, bro. I don't understand that shit. To be honest, if this young lady ever gets out of jail, it'll be a fucking crime against humanity, and it'll be a crime against this person's family that got stabbed the fuck up. I'm sorry.
Anyone in the service industry knows how frustrating it can be to get stiffed a tip. You know that feeling you waited on a table for an hour, gave them every ounce of your attention and still nothing? We all agree it's frustrating, but what do you normally do? Cuss them out in your head and move on with your day, right? Well, that's not what 22-year-old Brianna Alvello did last Sunday. Brianna was delivering pizza to the Riviera Motel, which is in Kissimmee, Florida. The total due was $33.10, and the customer, who was a pregnant woman traveling with her significant other and 5-year-old daughter, handed Brianna a $50 bill. Brianna then turned around to leave. The customer asked for her change back. Brianna said, "We have a no change policy." And the customer said, "Well, hold on then, give me back the 50, and started rummaging through their belongings, looking for smaller bills. They end up handing her $35 and send her on her way, which infuriates Brianna because that was a less than $2 tip. But she shut her mouth, rolled her eyes, and went on with her night. Until a few hours later when Brianna and her boyfriend show back up at the motel. After the family was fast asleep, Brianna and her boyfriend knocked on the door. The pregnant woman opened it and they barged in holding a gun. So Brianna and her boyfriend start going through their bags, and then as they're leaving, Brianna stabs the pregnant woman 14 times in front of her 5-year-old daughter and significant other. Brianna's been charged with attempted murder, and as of today, they have not named the male suspect.
Billions of people go out to eat at restaurants every day. Servers, waiters, waitresses, they usually depend on tips to live, right? And you've heard of people leaving bad tips for food, you know, and those servers don't take it well. Well, in this case, the Osceola County Sheriff's Office said on Sunday evening, a woman staying at the Rivera Motel in Kissimmee, Florida, ordered a pizza. Detectives said 22-year-old Brianna Alvello delivered the pizza to the customer, but she was not happy with her tip. Investigators said that Alvello later came back to the motel room, this time with a man who had a gun. Officials said the two of them forced their way into the room, and then Alvello used a knife to stab the victim 14 times. She was that mad about her poor tip, she stabbed the victim 14 times. Alvello is accused of stealing items from the room. She is facing charges of home invasion, attempted murder, kidnapping, and aggravated assault. State attorney said Alvello could now spend the rest of her life behind bars, and prosecutors recommended in a court hearing that her crimes be punishable by life in prison. Fortunately, the victim is now in stable condition. Her 5-year-old daughter was home at the time, in the room whenever she got stabbed. Deputies are still looking for the armed man who was with Alvello during the attack. Wow, you've heard of road rage. This is tip rage. She was that mad about getting a bad tip for her pizza, she comes back with an armed man and stab somebody 14 times, and Thankfully, this victim survived. You guys be careful out there with people coming to your homes. Use all safety precautions that they put out there. What do you think about this situation? Those who have done DoorDash, those who've tipped before, which will probably be everybody in the world, right? This is Freedom Over Everything News. All comments and opinions are welcome. You guys have a good day.
Have you heard about the Florida pizza delivery woman from Marco's who chuckied, or Freddy Cougar, see my shirt, a pregnant woman 14 times for giving a $2 tip? Let's get into it. A pregnant woman, her boyfriend, and her 5-year-old were staying in a motel in Kissimmee, Florida. They were celebrating a birthday. So as part of the celebration, they ordered Marco's Pizza. So this pizza was delivered by Ms. Alvelo. The order totaled $33, but the couple only had a $50 bill. Ms. Alvelo did not have change. So the pregnant customer wanted to give Ms. Alvelo a tip. However, she was not going to let her keep the $50 bill. She only had $2 loose. So that's what she gave to her. Okay, so Ms. Alvelo leaves with the tip. So as the night progressed, sometime later on, the couple and their daughter heard this knock, knock, bang, bang at the door. So they went to the door, and a man and a woman wearing ski masks forced their way into the motel room. The man had a silver pew-pew and demanded that the boyfriend go into the bathroom. Then Miss Alvelo pulled out a pocket knife. She then proceeded to go through the woman's purse. She broke the daughter's Nintendo Switch. So the pregnant woman turned to block her daughter, and she said she felt a strike on her back. She then threw her daughter on the bed and went to grab her phone. Miss Alvelo snatched the phone and smashed it, and then began to chucky her. Then the man with the pew-pew said it's time to go and stop the assault. The pregnant woman got chuckied 14 times in her chest, arms, legs, and abdomen. The story leaves off there on NBC News. They're saying that Miss Alvelo is in jail. However, they're not saying what happened in between, how they caught her, or how she was identified. Now, Ms. Chucky Alvelo is being charged with attempted home invasion with a pew-pew, kidnapping, and aggravated assault. I personally think a charge is missing, endangering the welfare of a minor, but maybe that's to come. So, are we that hard up over tips today in society? Let me know what you think in the comments.
A pregnant woman in Kissimmee, Texas was stabbed 14 times by her delivery driver after she got angry that she only got a $2 tip. Deputies responded to the Riviera Motel and found a victim with multiple stab wounds. She was then rushed to the hospital where she had to undergo emergency surgery for the injuries to her abdomen, chest, legs, and arms. She is now in stable condition, and as far as I've been able to find, the baby is okay too. The suspect is 22-year-old Brianna Alvelo, and she was a delivery driver for Marco's Pizza. After she received the tip, she allegedly returned to the hotel with a male accomplice, forced their way inside, and began to attack. She not only stabbed the suspect, but also stole items from her hotel room. She was arrested and charged with attempted murder, home invasion, and aggravated assault. The male accomplice, well, he's still on the run. And I'm sorry, but if you do this, let alone to a pregnant woman over a $2 tip, you should stay in prison the rest of your life. Her face doesn't really look like one that regrets what she did. People like this cannot be rehabilitated, and you cannot change my mind.
Florida pizza delivery driver arrested. Allegedly stabbed a bad tipper 14 times, bro. This is nasty work, and of course it would have happened in Florida. But listen, y'all, this lady did a delivery for pizza, and she ain't get no tip, so she stabbed Shorty 14 times. She said, this is for every piece of pepperoni on that slice that you didn't tip for. You know, this is crazy, bro. Like, imagine going to, even though, listen, y'all need to tip. I ain't gonna front. People, y'all, the reason y'all not going to get y'all food is because y'all lazy and it's cold outside. Come on, tip. These people deserve a tip. I ain't gonna front. I tip everybody, no diddy. But look, she shouldn't get that mad, bro. Like, they would have tipped you like $5. You just threw your whole life away for $5, bro. Like, I told y'all that Florida's a crazy world, bro. Florida's like a whole world of its own, bro. It's crazy over there. Like, this lady got so mad, she ran and Shorty home and stabbed her 14 times, bro. God damn, nasty work.
A pregnant woman in Kissimmee, Florida was stabbed 14 times in front of her young daughter over a bad pizza delivery tip. This is the person right here who stabbed the victim, Brianna Alvelo, a 22-year-old. The incident occurred when the victim was in a motel with her 5-year-old daughter and her husband, and they ordered pizza. This person delivered to them. The total was $33.10. The victim gave her a $50 bill and wanted her change back. This person got a $2 tip for the order. She was very mad. She left super upset from the motel. She came back later that night and made her way into the room with another man who had a gun. Once inside the room, this person started stabbing the victim multiple times. The victim had to undergo surgery in one of her lungs, which was punctured. This person is currently in jail, and she's being charged with home invasion, attempted murder, and kidnapping. Be careful, people. You just never know. There's a lot of crazy people out there.